And we're live. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I think we're a little bit early, but our clocks on our computer say it's time, and I didn't want to mess anything up. So we're starting, and
yeah, we'll just spend a little time while people get a chance to connect and come live with us. So
yeah, when you jump on, share with us your city and state that you're watching from, and share with us the name of the child that you are honoring. So we would love to see who's all here and hear about your children.
And just give us a little thumbs up or a comment if the audio sounds okay, and as we're preparing to virtually walk together. Throw a few comments in there so we know who's watching, and that also, as we're going through the walk today and talking a little bit, commenting and stuff, that way we know who's here. We're going to do little drawings, some really fun drawings, some really amazing little gifts that people have donated and given, just to kind of have a little more fun with the walk and get people interacting, and so people can win some neat little gifts. So
just making sure technology is working here. Hi, Julie. Thank you. Honoring John. Yes, we have a beautiful sign for John out back.
And I'll be going back there with God willing, with the technology, to share the little path that we have set up for all the signs that we have. So that'll be coming later. And if you want to come for a drive, it is a beautiful morning, Connie. Good to see you. We were praying, and we thought, we just thought if people want to come physically to the property, just come, and we'll respect each other's distance, but you can come anytime. We're going to leave the sign set up unless the weather turns bad till Sunday night late. So if you want to take a little drive, we can put the address in the comments, or you can find it on our website. Please feel free to do that. So it is a beautiful day. It's a little cloudy, but it's a beautiful day for walking together. So
there are more of you are jumping on. That's because it's like really actually almost 9 o'clock. We had to get on, otherwise our feed would have gotten canceled. We certainly didn't want that. So good morning. Good morning, Kendra and Jill and Kirk, Lavana, Leanda, Jennifer, Kayla, Wanda. Hello, hello. I love all of your comments.
Hey, Jill.
Amen to all the kids that were never named. Whoops. Oh. A beautiful ministry. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. And that's been heavy on my heart lately, is all the miscarriages and those, a lot of times, people don't name. So we're definitely walking in honor of all those children.
All right. Well, we are Denny and Carrie, and we are the founders of Healing Hope Ministries. And obviously, a virtual walk to remember is different. It's different for all of us. We're doing the best that we can, and we're just glad that you are all joining us and participating. And I really just hope that you'll make this your own and walk with your families today, plan a special little event. I think this just kind of gives us that time to focus our attention for a little bit on on that child and that they mattered and how much we miss them. And we have to just take that time sometimes and be intentional about it. So we thank you for joining us. And you want to start us off with a little prayer?
Sure. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. We come before you. You know our hearts. You know everyone's story and the brokenness that we all feel. But we thank you so much for the comfort that you can give us, and only you can give us that amazing comfort that we all desperately need. So we thank you for this opportunity to come together and just spend time together, being intentional about remembering and honoring our children and these grandchildren and the siblings, all of these loved ones that have gone too soon. So we just ask that you would watch over all the families that are going to view this live and in the future, that they come across this and that they can be blessed by making connections inside this community of people that are walking this path, and just make divine connections. And we just thank you so much for this ability to do this virtually, even though we would love to be more social and together, but you know the plan that's laid out for today. So watch over the technology and just guard our thoughts today. And we thank you and pray in your precious Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Denny.
Yeah. As we get started, like Carrie had mentioned a little bit before, we came on just a little bit early, but put in the comment below what town you're walking in and the loved one that you are remembering, and tell a little story if you want, and we can maybe people can make connections that way, especially if you're in the same cities. Start some side conversations, and just we hope that you're blessed, that you can make some connections to strengthen your support system. So make sure to do that, and that way we can also put your name. We've got an awesome team of people kind of watching the comments, and they're helping us out. So we got a lot of little door prizes, gifts that have been given and donated. So that's way we can honor your time with us, and hopefully some people win some neat little prizes that would be a blessing. So
yeah. And speaking of, we challenged you all in the weeks previous to share our posts, share your stories, and we had quite a few do that. So we thank you for that. And as promised, we are going to do a drawing for $100 gift card.
Yeah.
So hopefully I got everybody's names in, and I'll let Denny draw out of my little plastic bag.
Amazing.
Terry Mueller from Crofton. Congrats, Terry. Thank you for being such a good advocate for Healing Hope, and for always sharing our stuff, and for honoring your nieces and nephews. So thank you all again for participating, and feel free to keep dropping your comments and stuff in there. And our lovely tech crew outside will get your names into the drawing for at the end of our time together, I guess. So we just kind of want to start by just sharing a little bit of our story. We'll share for a little bit, and then we will post the video for the virtual walk after that. And then we'll come back on, and we actually have a special guest that's going to join us live. And we're going to just really have a conversation about grief and loss. And at that time, we will welcome, if you guys have questions that you want to ask our special guest, you can put them in the comments when we get to that point as well. So, yeah. So anyway, again, we're Denny and Carrie, and our first son, Asher, was born in 2011. and he was happy and healthy, and he had bright red hair. And then all of a sudden, on July 2nd, 2012, he died. And we don't have a reason to this date. They said that he was anatomically perfect. So he was 15 months old when he died, and we were heartbroken. We didn't think that we would survive. We were struggling in our marriage.
Previously.
Make him cry. And it was a really hard journey. And so we just really, we were intentional about digging into our grief and kind of really just walking in it. And kind of what helped me a lot was I started meeting with different moms from the community. It's like once something happens like this to you, people kind of come out of the woodwork that have walked through it, and you're like, what? I had no idea there were so many people. And so I really just started meeting with different moms, and we would have 3-hour lunch dates and we just talked and shared and cried and ate. And it just felt so good to talk to somebody else who had been through it, and to see that they were still living, that you could survive this. And that was huge for me. That kept me going. And then by the grace of God, Denny actually found a retreat center similar to the one that we just created. And it's called Smile Again Ministries in northern Minnesota. And so we went there and we spent probably about 4 days there. And it truly changed the direction of our life and really helped us to learn so much about our grief and our loss and our pain, and kind of learn what to do with it. And just to really open the communication lines up, because it's really hard to talk to each other about that deep pain when you're both struggling so much. So it was a huge blessing in our life. And that's obviously God put a call on our hearts to bring that here to South Dakota. And so that's what has happened over the last 4 years. But shortly, about a year or so after Asher died, we did decide we wanted to do something to keep his memory alive. And so we started our Asher's Magical Adventure, is what it was called. And it was a 5K and a walk run. And we started that in Brandon, and we did that for 3 years, I think. And we just raised money for different ministries that we believed in and supported. And then God kind of worked on us and kind of changed the direction of that a little bit. And I'll let Denny speak on where that went after that.
Yeah, this is like in 2015, right before our walk. We had been praying and just felt God just nudging us and leading us. And honestly, he started that process shortly after we left Smile Again, which we didn't fully understand. And about what month run, early in May, early in 2015, we just felt a shift that we needed to change the walk, the Asher's Magical Adventure. And what has developed through that is opening up to honoring all these other children of all these friends that had came into our life after the death of Asher. And we just saw such an amazing connections being developed and built at that first few walks. And we didn't fully absorb it until later, but many connections were being made. And we just saw something powerful that we knew we had to try to maybe put a little more thought, effort, and intention into. So it's kind of how we led to honestly incorporating Healing Hope Ministries. And that happened in 2016. So it happened fairly fast after our shift in thinking about honoring just Asher, to giving that time to all these other families and just coming together as a large community And it is unfortunately a large community.
Yeah.
So I just want to take a few minutes. There might be some people that don't know a lot about Healing Hope. So just really briefly share with you about our mission. We just walk with families and their support systems and just help them find hope and healing after these tragic losses. And every one of our stories is unique. Every loss is different, even though it might be a loss from a car accident. They're all our own, and we all have all these unique perspectives. So we just come together with these families and just honestly spend time just loving each other, hearing each other's stories, and just basically we do a lot of listening and allowing this safe space in a beautiful retreat center that got built last fall for families to share their deepest pain without judgment and just to start working through that process. So,
Yep. So we serve families through retreats, education, and small groups. And just a little bit on the small groups. So we are open to meeting people wherever they're at. We'll meet people for coffee or lunch. They can come here. We also host small group meetings. We're usually 10 people or less, so they're very small, which is nice because then it really feels intimate and you can feel like you can actually share. And so we meet with that group the third Monday of each month at 6:30 here on our property. And so if anybody is ever wanting to join us, you're sure welcome. Just message me and get more details, or you can look on our website or on our Facebook group. We have those events all posted there too. So, and then do you just want to explain the retreats a little bit?
Sure. Just to touch on it briefly, we have retreats that can be scheduled generally 2 to 4 days. We definitely recommend the 4 days so you have time to just be and come. And it's just one family at a time. So it's, we're open now. We have the ability to have your own space, and we have the ability to visit with each other. And great, we can be outdoors. We have a space that we have plenty of space to stretch out in. So, and those retreats can be scheduled on our website. There's a calendar for open dates and availability. And basically, we just walk through 4 sessions that Smile Again Ministries, Pat and Judy Meisner, where Carrie and I went after Asher died, they developed this. They've been developing this program probably over the last 30 years, 25 to 30 years. But they just are amazing people, and they've just blessed us by just sharing that information with us so it made such an impact in our life. And that's one of the things that we do as we go through those 4 sessions. And honestly, each one is unique. Every family story is unique. So it's very, very fluid and flexible. So,
yep. So with that brings us to today, the Walk to Remember. We are honoring over 140 children. And I know that there are way more tuning in, and there's people out there who haven't, told us about their child or honored them with a sign or whatever, but we're honoring all of them today, no matter what. And we just thank you again for joining us. We see you, we hear you, and we understand. And we just want you to know that we're here to walk this journey with you. And we just encourage you to connect with us sometime. We encourage you to try to make connections through the comments here if you see somebody maybe that has a similar story. And we just, we're here for you.
Yeah, and
you're not alone.
We're all here for each other too. It's a community that has been blessed with deep, meaningful relationships. So can't stress that enough, that to step into those relationships. It can be scary, it can be fearful, but let me just be very transparent that as soon as you step in, you will be blessed, not because of connecting with us, but connecting with each other.
Yeah.
And sharing your stories. So much healing and blessing can come out of that, is verbalizing our stories. But sometimes it's hard and scary to find the right person to share the story with. So there's going to be people that are commenting that, start to make those little connections. And if we can facilitate those anyway, we would love to help that too. So
absolutely. So in just a moment, we're going to share the slideshow of the children that were submitted for our virtual video tribute. But at this time, obviously events aren't possible without sponsors. And so we want to thank some sponsors that stepped forward to help us get this event going today. We thank Bruna Electric, and we thank Chris Hood with 828, Brooks Construction Services out of T, Gritty Faith Magazine and the Norway Center store, Love Legacy, Be Present Designs, and the families of Lael Sariange and Nick Schiefer. So we appreciate you all so much, and thank you for stepping in and
just helping out and
supporting us.
Understanding our hearts and our mission and our vision. And we've been blessed. So thank you so much for stepping into this and serving all these families that you all possibly will never meet. But you're giving us the opportunity to connect with them and love on them and just walk this journey with each other. So the need definitely is great. As Carrie mentioned, I don't know if she mentioned or not, of just in the southeast South Dakota area, 2 to 3 families find themselves in this situation every day of either car accidents or just health issues of losing their children to all these different causes and at all ages. We don't, from miscarriage to the 40 or 50-year-old son that passes away. So I really want people that are new tuning into the population, I guess, or the families that we serve. It's a very wide range of ages of children. So, and you'll see some of that on the slideshows, and obviously you guys all know that are participating. So we just encourage you to just become advocates also of Healing Hope. Spread the word on this, and we'd love if you would just watch this video later do a watch party. I'm not the most technical person in the world. Someone else handles all that stuff, but just help us get this message out that there is hope and there is healing. And Carrie's got an amazing website built and many different ways that people can connect with us. And that's also in the giving aspect and all these there's so many different ways to do that now. And Venmo is one way that we have set up where you can connect with us and just help us support these families. We truly are blessed by the mission we've been given and all the friendships and the people that have come along and helped us so we can do this day to day. This is what we spend our time doing, and we're just honored to do it. So there's different memorial items, if you'd want to bless the property with a bench or some trees, all those can be found on our website. Butterfly bricks, we're in the process of building a path of hope, and I'm really excited about what that's going to do for the people physically coming to spend time. And that's probably out a ways getting that done, but a few other things. We shared a video earlier this morning on some really things we really want to accomplish, and building a gazebo and a water feature and just to enhance the time here, spending it in nature and just time getting away to heal. So if any of those things have piqued your interest or want to learn a little bit more, don't feel free to reach out.
Don't feel free.
Don't
Feel free.
Don't hesitate to reach out. So, but thank you so much we're just amazed what has happened in 4 years. that we're actually sitting in a space that families have utilized and small groups have utilized, and a lot of stories have been shared. So
Yes.
just thank you so much.
Yes. With that, I am going to read a little poem, and then I will play the video tribute. So, my poem is called Shoes. I am wearing a pair of shoes. They are ugly shoes, uncomfortable shoes. I hate my shoes. Each day I wear them, and each day I wish I had another pair. Some days my shoes hurt so bad that I do not think I can take another step. Yet I continue to wear them. I get funny looks wearing these shoes. They are looks of sympathy. I can tell in others' eyes that they are glad they are my shoes and not theirs. They never talk about my shoes. To learn how awful my shoes are might make them uncomfortable. To truly understand these shoes, you must walk in them. Some have learned how to walk in them so that they don't quite hurt so much. Some have worn the shoes so long that days go by before they think about how much they hurt. No one deserves to wear these shoes. Yet, because of these shoes, we are stronger. These shoes have given us the strength to face anything. They have made us who we are. We will forever walk in the shoes of parents who have lost a child. So, I'm going to see if my technology is going to work today, and I will share the video tribute now.
We'll be back after that.
When I walk through deep waters, I know that you will be with me. When I'm standing in the fire, I will not be overcome. Through the valley of the shadow, I will not fear. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. In the midst of deep sorrow, I see your light is breaking through. The dark of night will not overtake me. I am pressing into you. Lord, you fight my every battle. Oh, and I will not fear. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me, you call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me, you call me as your own. You're my strength, you're my defender. You're my refuge in the storm. Through these trials, you've always been faithful. You bring healing to my soul. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. Oh, I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. When I walk through deep waters, I know that you will be with me. When I'm standing in the fire, I will not be overcome. Through the valley of the shadow, I will not fear. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. In the midst of deep sorrow, I see your light is breaking through. The dark of night will not overtake me. I am pressing into you. Lord, you fight my every battle. Oh, and I will not fear. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me,
So as you can see, the need is so great. So great. I do have our special guest here with us. I want you all to welcome Mary Weber. She is a licensed counselor in Sioux Falls, and we just love you, Mary, and we thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah. And so as you can see, Denny has snuck out back and is kind of showing the view and the signs that we have set up for the walk on our property. Denny, what's it like back there?
It's a beautiful day. As the same on the day we did the dedication of the building, it just there's a lot of loved ones to remember, and pretty emotional, and it's meant to be, and we need to share these emotions with each other and be vulnerable, and but it's a beautiful day. Please, if you feel like taking a drive, again, please come out, and you'll be free to, as you can see, we have about 5 acres, so there's plenty of space, and we don't have anything technically like organized, but just you're free to come and just come and walk and share.
Beautiful. So there's just something about being in nature that is just so peaceful. Just a place to sit in your grief. We talk about that a lot. All right. Well, child loss is a loss like no other because it really is out of order. And we're not supposed to bury our children. No one ever thinks that we will be in this situation. But as you can see, there is a huge need, and there are so many families that have gone through this. And we just have the desire to serve those families. And we also have a desire to help educate the communities around us. And that's kind of why we are going to have this little conversation with Mary today. And just going to talk about grief and what it looks like, and maybe some things that we can do to sit in it and to take those steps. So I think we're gonna log you off, Denny.
Have a blessed time. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
All right. So again, this is Mary Weber. She is a licensed counselor in Sioux Falls. And we met Mary, I think it's been 3 years now, which I feel like I've known you forever, but yet so blessed that you did come into our life 3 years ago. Mary is a licensed counselor, and she is also the author of 2 children's books. Mary has a huge heart, and she just gets it. She is so easy to talk to, and she walked through grief at a young age. And so she wrote these children's books to kind of help children deal with grief and loss. And do you want to talk just a little bit about your books and what you walked through in your life? Just briefly.
Sure. Well, thank you everybody for being online, and for Denny and Carrie. This is an incredible ministry. I did write 2 children's books, one on Finding Our Brave, which is in our heart, and another one is Lost and Found, a grief book for children. And a little bit about my story was when I was a child, my dad was killed in a car accident. So I fully appreciate that I don't understand child loss. But I do remember the people that were compassionate to our family, and who were empathetic, and who were willing to walk with us in our pain. And so when I get to be around people like Carrie and Denny, and so many people in the comments section who have gone through their own loss and are willing to walk with one another, it's an honor to sit with all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about grief and what grief looks like, and maybe what good grief is.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Wow. Great question. You know what? I think that there's not a wrong way to grieve unless we don't grieve. And sometimes I know I'm really speaking to the choir because I know all of you understand it so well. But I think sometimes our society says maybe we're not supposed to grieve, or we can grieve for a little while. But then, years ago, it used to be we needed to get over grief. And we really grieve because we love. And so we will grieve a lifetime. I think we, over time and with talking to incredibly wise people, one another in this group, I think people do learn how to carry their grief. But I don't think there's a wrong way except to deny it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's power in sharing your story.
Yeah. One of my favorite authors, his name is Tom Zuba, I believe is his last name. And he wrote Permission to Mourn. And one of the things he talks about over and over and over, he had lost his wife and 2 children, was to tell your story and tell it over and over and over, because it's too much to take in all at once. A child loss is the greatest loss anybody can experience. And so we can't take it in all at once. But when you talk about it, every time you share your story, your body is integrating it a little bit more each time. And there's power in remembering, and there's power in sharing. And so it's actually, as hard as it is, it's very healing to tell your story over and over.
Absolutely. And that's why we encourage people all the time to share their stories. And it's just, we're hoping that there's a little healing in that for you. So that's why we do encourage you to share your story so much. And that's what we try to do with the signs. And, that's what we're having you do here in the comments. And it's powerful. So another thing I want to touch on is the importance of having like a safe space to grieve in, and to having like a community of support.
Right. When I came here, I came here early this morning, and I just walked around the grounds. I'm just drawn here. I'm drawn to this ministry, and I stopped by each of your signs and looked at the pictures and read the stories and paused in honor of your children. And it reminded me, in a book I read a long time ago, it was a Jewish tradition years ago, and it was called the Mourner Circle. And the concept was that anytime you needed to, you could just walk this circle, and you would be walking with other people who understand grief. And the concept is then you don't have to do it all alone. Even though I know everybody's grief is very, very, very individualized, there's something about knowing I don't have to do it all alone, whether that would be a family member or a support group or counseling or a ministry like Healing Hope or Compassionate Friends or Healing Mother's Garden. I mean, there's so many empowering ways to just say, I hear you, I see you, and I'll support you. Even though grief is such an individual journey, there's power in not having to do it all alone.
Absolutely. And there's power in hearing your child's name spoken, and your friends and family remembering and honoring your child as well.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I've seen so much, even just lately. A lot of people are feeling more empowered to share about a child or anyone really that's gone too soon, and to see how that affects the family, how they receive that. A lot of people are like, I don't know if I should say the name, or if I don't know if I should talk about it. But most people, I'll say most, because there might be some that don't, but most people, it is like music to our ears to hear. Maybe there's a story we haven't heard before. Maybe there's a picture we haven't heard. Somebody sent us a card when we had our grand opening last year with a picture of Asher in it. And I hadn't seen that picture. And it was just like, wow, thank you for sending that. And so we just want to encourage and empower you guys all to share who you're walking for, share with the family, talk about the child, and share stories and memories. And it's just so powerful. And again, you might think that you're going to make us cry, but we might cry, but there's so much more to that. And it's like medicine for my heart.
And I hate to say this because I don't want it to have one more thing that people who are grieving need to do, but you almost have to give your family, your support system permission to talk about your loved one and let them know that, oh, I want to hear stories. I want to see pictures. I want to remember. I want to celebrate their birthday. I want to remember the day they passed away. Speak their name, because others are sometimes going to take their cues from you, because if they're seeing you have a happy day, they're not sure, should I bring his or her name up? And like you said so beautifully, Carrie, they're always on your heart, on a good day, on a hard day. But you might have to be the one to give your coworkers, your family, your friends permission and let them know how good that is for your heart to hear them talk and ask about your loved one. Because that's what we get to have, is the love and the memories.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk with a lot of families, and unfortunately we do have to kind of educate people, but they just don't know. And I didn't know before I went through a situation like this. And so it is so powerful just to have those conversations and tell them what you want, even though it's hard to do that, but we have to. And then they'll be happy to walk the journey with us, I think, and to honor our children as we wish. So, I like that. Are there any questions that you guys are wanting to ask Mary? You can put those in the comments. Yes, Kendra says, wonderfully said, I love hearing anything about Madison. Yes, very good. Thank you for sharing, Kendra. So we'll wait for a couple more questions, but what is kind of your last thoughts or your impression of Healing Hope? What does it mean to you?
Well, like I said, the first time I met Denny and Carrie was through a wonderful woman who has taught me so much about grief, as I learn from every person I get to sit with. And I was drawn to them. And this was before they had this beautiful building, because the ministry was in their heart. And now Denny and Carrie have this beautiful location. And if you are up for a drive, or gosh, we all need a place to go, we need to get out of our homes, especially during this unique time with the pandemic. When you come here, when you drive on the property, and I don't know, something just washes over you, and it's a beautiful location. It's very serene. It's very peaceful. I walked just for an hour around the grounds, and it is very healing. There's hope. And then there's a place to just honor your feelings. And I think sometimes the world goes so darn fast, and sometimes we need that space. And I've often given your book, The Walk, to people, because it's such a beautiful read to give to family members, to give to friends. If people say, I don't know what to do to help you, I say, have them read this book, because, there's so much power in that. So whether you come to here for a support group, or Carrie and Denny have been willing to just meet people for a cup of coffee, or come to their retreat center, I just think it's a gift to this community to say, we're not the experts of your story, but we will definitely listen to you. And I find that very healing and hopeful.
Absolutely. Thank you for those sweet words.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here we got a couple. So Jill says, if I cry when you talk about my child, no, it's because I love that you remember he made a difference in your world. He's never forgotten.
That's beautiful, Jill.
Wanda says, maybe. Oh, my computer's a little bit slow. Oh, Deb, I love to hear about my son and see his pictures, but my husband doesn't share that. He just wants to keep his grief silent. What do you do in that situation? That's a good question, Deb.
Boy, Deb, and I think so many families can relate to that, because even within the same family, people can grieve so different. And I think the best thing we can do is to honor one another's grief. That, okay, this might be what you need and this is what I need, and to know that both are okay. But for you still to get to talk about him and look at pictures and remember. And then if your husband does it a different way, that is okay. There's not right or wrong. It's just a very different personality style.
Yep. Connie has a question. Can you speak how family members can honor their loved ones?
Thank you, Connie. How family members can help their loved ones.
Sorry, yeah.
No, that's okay. I had to reread it.
Can't read.
You know what I think? One thing I think it's important for us not to do is say, if you need anything, let me know, because I have done that. I am guilty of that. But you know what? It lets us be off the hook, because then it's like, well, if they need anything, they'll reach out. What I have seen is when people are, especially in the depths of their grief, they don't even maybe know what they need. So maybe to offer, I would like to babysit your children, or I would like to bring a meal. What night would work best for you? Or I would like to do this or this. Does one sound better or the other? You know, give people option. And then I think you ask them, you can say, how can I best support you? So this would be a little bit farther along on their journey. And if they say, please talk to me about my son or daughter, please remember them, honor however they're grieving and support them. And then I think it's important that we don't give advice, because we are not the expert of anybody else's story. I mean, they are the experts. So if we can't say they're doing it right or they're doing it wrong, or because they're having a good day, it doesn't mean that they're over their grief. It simply means they're having a good moment, and we need to celebrate that. So I think it's walking alongside people, but letting them lead. And then I think the other piece is offering things that you can do to help. And we're so good at honoring grief, I think, in those first few days, those first weeks. But people grieve for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And so are we continuing to check in with them and honoring their loved one and supporting them, but letting them take the lead?
Absolutely. And that is kind of what we wrote our book on, The Walk. And we have those available if anybody wants to buy one. But we really wanted to kind of equip the support system that kind of is right there around the family, and give them the courage and ideas on how to help. And that's exactly what we say too, is come up with things. Don't ask or don't say, oh, well, if you need anything, let me know, because we don't have the power to respond to that. We don't have the brain power, the mental clarity to really know what we need. And so when someone offers like, hey, I'm going to bring you supper, what night's better, Tuesday or Thursday?
Yeah.
You just can answer that simply. So that's that. But
do you want to bring up Wanda's comment, because that didn't click on, and that was so powerful too.
I agree also. I love to hear others talk about David. I talk about him all the time and can feel him with me still. So it's nice to know his friends feel him too. Exactly.
That's beautiful permission, Wanda.
Yeah. I love it when families who've lost, a child who at least was able to have friends. I mean, Asher was so young. Yes, he had friends, mostly his cousins.
Yeah.
But, when they died at an age where they had friends, it's just so neat to see those friends still come around and
Yeah.
still support the family and show up on those birthdays and those anniversaries. I just
Love
think that's
that.
so powerful. Let's see, Dan Bruna. I've been asked by people, when should families contact you after they lost a child? Is there a time frame they should wait, or is it something that you could help them with right away? That's a great question, Dan. We're here anytime. Families can reach out to us. We've had families reach out, like not the parents, but like support people to that family. We've had them reach out the next day, the next week. And when it's so early like that, that's kind of when our book comes in handy, and we can give the support system of that family our book, and they can kind of see those tangible ways how they can come around and support the family, because they know them best. They have the relationship with them. But as far as connecting with us, anytime really. I think a lot of times after about a month to 8 weeks, the world starts going on with their life again. And that's kind of when it gets really, really challenging. And for the person who suffered the loss, it feels like, how can the world go on?
Yeah.
Because I'm not ready to go on. And I think that's kind of a really powerful time to connect them with us. As far as coming for a retreat, there's no right or wrong answer. Smile Again kind of follows the motto of maybe 3 months after the loss, just because that's kind of when the fog is kind of lifting.
Sure.
And but we had a family come 3 weeks after the loss, and it was so powerful in their journey. And they said it was just what they needed at the right time. And because, they were grieving, they were lost, they didn't know what to do. And just coming here was just that safe space. And they came with their kids, and we were able to just open that conversation up where it doesn't feel comfortable to do at your own house.
Right.
And we're just kind of safe people to kind of bring out that conversation and help those families kind of talk about it. And it was so healing and so amazing to be a part of that experience. So I think there's no right or wrong answer, but hopefully those ideas help.
One thing I've done in that situation is I have just planted a seed about Healing Hope Ministry, and to say, if there's a point you would like to hear a little bit more about it, I'll be able to tell you, or I would connect you with Denny and Carrie. And it's just kind of a gentle seed that's in their heart for when it starts to get really, really hard. Because it's so hard, whatever the beginning is. The beginning can be days, weeks, months, years. But then I think it's when, I think what Carrie said, when we start to feel really lonely in it, because now life has kind of moved forward for others. And so I've seen people sometimes reach out in that second year to you. So it's never too early, or it's never too late. It's so personal, and just for people to know it's an option for them whenever they might want it.
Absolutely. And then, I was just going to touch on too, I think Denny mentioned it in his video this morning. Speaking of Denny, you're on deck, get ready. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
About people coming and
yes. Okay. And so like how to connect that family to us. It's one thing like, oh, here's a brochure. Not going to work. They're not going to reach out. They're not going to connect. And so what we really encourage friends and family to do is make that personal connection like between us. So maybe the 3 of us meet for coffee, just to meet. And then after that, then the ball can be in their court, or we can keep checking in, or, ask for their permission to give us their name and number, and we will gladly reach out to them if they're open for it. it's just really hard to do the reaching out when
Right.
you're in that position. And so I think a lot of people, we need to hear that because, you know, everyone's like, well, I gave them your card. Well, I can guarantee you the things that I was given are in a box somewhere, and I don't open that box. And so we have to take it further than that.
Yeah.
So yes, I wish I would have known then what I know now. That's a really long one. I'm going to put it on though. Kathy, because of Healing Hope, I lost children through miscarriages, about 10 weeks for each of them. I did not name them, did not tell people about them, but still can remember when I learned I was pregnant, my due date, and when I lost them. I felt that my loss was not as bad as those that lost children that were birthed, but it is a loss and it still hurts. Absolutely, Kathy. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I think that's kind of big on our hearts too, is to empower those families who maybe might think, oh, it was, you know, not as bad as this or whatever, but they're all our children and we all love them. And the moment we know that they exist,
Yeah. That's what I
we've
was
got their
thinking.
life planned out.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Soon as a family finds out they're pregnant, we are in love, and there is joy, and there are hopes, and there are dreams. And I loved what you said, Carrie. I think we have to be so careful not to compare grief, because everybody's story is their own story, and we want to honor everybody's story. So if it was a miscarriage or a stillbirth or an infant or a young child or a teen or an adult, there's someone's child, and we want to honor and remember them. So
Absolutely.
Kathy, I just think you gave words for so many people.
Yep.
Thank you.
Deb says, glad to know I'm not the only one who loses their train of thought. You're welcome, Deb. See, I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yes.
like focus and read comments and do my screen. So I'm just being real. So, I think we all know that the journey is constant and it comes in waves. Yeah. And we'll have good days and we'll have not so good days. But we just have to keep walking and remember that we're not alone.
Yeah.
So, Denny, are you ready? I'm going to add you. Right.
Hello?
So Denny is hello.
Does it
Denny's
help if I
outside
do-
our property right now, and he is walking toward the guest house. So when we moved here, that was just an old white Morton building, and it's definitely changed. People that knew this place before, it's just crazy. They're like, that building, what? That's totally different. So it's just a small, we're actually sitting in the living room right now.
Mhm.
It's just a small apartment sort of style, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, living room, and dining room, and lots of outdoor space. There's a couple people sitting out around the fire right now, and we have a beautiful patio area there, and I think Denny's going to walk over and show you some of the memorial bricks that people have made to honor their loved one, just so you can get an idea of what that looks like. So just go ahead. Yeah.
And Carrie, why Denny's showing us these beautiful bricks? I saw Deb's comment that says, do you think 3 to 4 years after the death of a son and brother would be too late to come to your retreat? And I don't mean to speak for Carrie, but I think it's never too late. It is never too early and it's never too late, because it's such an individual journey. So I just wanted to make sure we responded to Deb, and
Yes,
I think definitely reach out.
absolutely, Deb. Yep, it's never too late. It's always a good time to talk about our loved ones.
Always.
Yep. So can you zoom in on one of those bricks a little, Denny? So you can personalize the brick. We have so many characters that we're allowed on each line. There's 4 lines available. And so for a donation of $100, we can get you a butterfly brick as part of our Pathway of Hope. And we can help you personalize it however you would like. So those are the ones we've gotten so far. And eventually we'll put them out back, I think, in our Pathway of Hope. But we want to definitely show them off right now. Because, again, everyone matters. And so, yeah. Anything else you have to add, Denny?
No, just thank you everyone for asking questions and sharing comments and just connecting with each other and us. And hearing that song, I listened to it several times yesterday. It's just amazing. The words in that song, the not being alone. You know, I just to be real transparent, I had a lot of issues when I was a young man, and I spent the majority of my time in life alone, you know, emotionally, and it's such a tough place to be. And once you realize you do not have to do that and be there, that others are out there that love you and care about you and are willing to step into things with you, just make the choice and step in, and don't bear all these burdens on your own. And just, we know that we love you guys and have been so blessed for what we've learned and what we continue to learn. We're never going to stop learning, and that comes by meeting new people and wonderful people like Mary that God brought us together years ago, and just appreciate everyone and everyone's story. So my battery is very low, just to let you know.
I was watching the lovely grass and weeds there, wondering if we were going to get to see your face.
I will try.
All right. So while he was, I'm guessing his phone died. Okay. Well, thanks, Jenny. So now we have some door prizes to give away. I had a wonderful crew that was outside writing everyone's name down that commented today. And they drew out 7 names and they just brought them into me. And so we have some giveaways. So the first one is going to be a journal, an 828 journal. These are very awesome. One of our friends had a vision from God to make these, and he's working with the inmates at the penitentiary, and it's a ministry in itself. And so these, he just brought these last night, and I walked in here this morning, and it's just like, you can smell that fresh leather smell, and I just love it. So these journals are really a gift. So the first door prize winner goes to Maggie Schulke. This journal is yours. So we will definitely connect with you and get that to you. I'm going to make a note so I remember who got that one. The next item, I'll let you be Vanna.
Sure.
Is you can definitely smell that too.
Smells so good.
Bag of rainy day coffee, which is actually made in Hudson, South Dakota. So just down the road. So it's kind of a local treasure. So the winner of the rainy day coffee is Ellie Larson. Let's see, number 3, we have the Faith Over Fear book, Walking Angie Home. This is an amazing family. They are right here from the Alcester area as well. And Angie died, I think it was a year after we moved here. And we've just really gotten to know their family, and they are just an amazing family. And they have started the Norway Center store, and the Gritty Faith magazine, and they just share messages of faith and faith over fear. And so anyway, they have donated a book and a journal. So the winner of that is Kendra LeBrun.
Good job, Kendra.
Woohoo! All right, so the next one is another journal, but this one is like a teal green color leather. Really awesome. I love this one. So this one goes to Madeline Andrews from Garrettson. And then we have 3 more. So the next one is another bag of coffee. And that one goes to Allison. I'm going to slaughter your name. From Canton. Allison W. from Canton. You know who you are. And then the next one is our book, actually. Allison. A Healing Hope book, or not a Healing Hope book, the Walk book, and a little Healing Hope journal. So that one goes to Zane Hofelt. Good job, Zane. And then the last one is, I'm going to call it the grand prize.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's special. And I didn't take it out of the packaging, but I do have one hanging up outside because I had to buy myself one too. But it is a beautiful wind chime that says, "Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day, unseen, unheard, but always near, still loved, still missed, and very dear." And I also got this at the Norway Center store. Give them another plug. They just have such neat personal items there. And so the winner of that is Tanya Truckenmiller. So good job, Tanya. All right. Well, I hope you all were blessed by your time today. And we do look forward to walking with you on this journey. And we just encourage you to reach out, check out our small group sometime, message us for coffee, set up a retreat for your family. Another thing that we didn't mention, but another way to support a family is you can give a gift certificate to them for a retreat here. And so you can buy that on our website, or you can just message me and I can email you the gift certificate and you can gift it to them. So that's another way that we've seen a lot of families really supporting each other that way too. So you can schedule your retreats on our website or just message me. We have a calendar with available weekends on there. And I think I'm just going to close with a little quote that I really love. We've got a picture of it here in our guest house, but it says, "Grief never ends, but it changes. It's a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness, nor a lack of faith. Grief is the price of love." And I think that that's absolutely true. Everyone that comes here reads that and they're like, "Oh, that, yes, yes." So I just want to encourage you all to keep posting pictures in the event. If you saw and were confused, I extended the event so that it doesn't go away, because otherwise it will go away at like 11 or something today. So I extended it until Monday evening, I think at 9 p.m. So that it'll stay right up front in our vision. But I just encourage you to keep posting those pictures. If you gather with your family this weekend to do something special in honor of your loved one, just make this time your own and light a candle, take a walk, look at their pictures, watch their videos if that's, brings you joy. We just want to create the space to give you the permission to do that, to honor your loved one. So We do have some extra t-shirts if anybody still is wanting to get a t-shirt. Denny, I'm going to add you back in just so you can add some closing words if you'd like. So we have some extra t-shirts. So if you would still like one, just message me and I can let you know what sizes we have. And let's see. Denny. Hey.
I'm sorry.
Hello. Hello. Are you there? Do you have any closing comments?
I don't. I'm sorry. I was trying to tell you earlier.
Oh, I think he was trying to tell me his phone was dying, but I saw him get back on, so I wanted to invite him. So again, we encourage you to share this this video with your friends and family. Post your pictures, and if you want to connect, we definitely would love to connect with you. So reach out. All of our information is on Facebook and our website. And so I hope this was honoring and special to you all. And it's been an honor to put this together and to get to know a lot of you already. And again, we do want to thank you, Mary, for joining us today and coming down. And you're just a special, special part in this ministry and in our hearts. So we appreciate that. So I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day, and let's connect soon. Take care.